he married the elves. The events of this story are based on the account of older witnesses in one of the villages of Egypt. In one of the Egyptian villages, in the middle of the 18th century, in a city called Kafr al-Zayed, life was still on its norm, unpaved streets, and a countryside that had no electricity yet, even water extensions that did not reach homes. The villagers relied on kerosene stoves to provide lighting and canals to provide their needs for drinking water and other uses. How simple and beautiful that life is. Imagine with me that village in the middle of winter, late at midnight, and the road passing by the village, which is the only entrance to the village on a rainy night, where an old dirt road has not reached urbanization yet. A masterpiece on one of the deep canals on its banks dotted with old cypress trees. On the other hand, the sprawling fields, which give darkness an abnormal awe. The sound of wind is deafening. One of the villagers returns to his home in a horse-drawn carriage after visiting a village next door to that village. Do you see it? He is moving alone in the dark. It is the only thing that moves in that scene. He is on his cart singing one of the popular songs at that time. As he passed by the canal, he was alluding to something that seemed to be wrong. He stops singing, stops his cart and gets off her. He has already glimpsed something moving behind these trees. Moving in anticipation steps fear of the unknown. But suddenly he alludes indeed. Someone is sitting cross-legged, putting his head between his feet. Whisper is quiet, who is there? He did not receive an answer that turned around the body that was attached to his back. He was able to distinguish that the seated was a girl and not a man, even though a face was hidden between her knees. He felt astonished surprise, because it is not uncommon for women to go out at night in this particular sight. But he buried his astonishment in a rib and lessened his tension, and replaced him with astonishing surprise, and with a loud voice that reduced his tension. Who are you and what are you doing here? Only here. She raised her face up. And as he sees it, he sees the most beautiful girl he saw in his 40 years. Fifa is astonished by her beauty and magnificence. She was white, round-faced, broad-eyed, covering her hair, black scarf, dropping a tuft of fine black hair. Snooze suddenly, then talk. Who are you and what are you doing here late at night? I looked in his eyes melted his heart, and did not speak. So the question came back again. But she also did not respond, even if she kept focusing on his eyes. After a while I whispered, I am strange about the place. I ran away and I am not captivated by me here. He told her that I can host you in my family's house. Get up, let's go. Without another word, she moved with him calmly and boarded the horse-drawn carriage. And he went home, and all the way, when one word is spoken. And when he arrived at his family home, he entered the door and called Ali to his mother and sister. He explained it to them in his brief words, and he left the girl in their hospitality. The next morning, he found that the girl was sitting with his family eating breakfast, and the mother's opinion settled that the girl was without family and would stay in their home until God willing. Days passed, maybe a week. And when he bore him, he spoke to him that the girl was well off and had no family, and he was single, so why not marry her? His mother probably pressed him. Perhaps he liked the girl. But in the end, he agreed to marry the girl. The marriage took place in a pleasant family atmosphere. And the truth is said, the girl was excellent as a wife and everyone loved her. And she gave birth to him a child. And Magita was the name Alzulia. Long live between them and happiness and love. And a period of 6 years has passed. But only here something strange happened. In that era, bread was made at home, but due to the lack of water supplies in the villages, the water was filled from canals for baking, as for washing utensils and drinking. She was working this morning on bread. And one of the women of the house went to the canal to wash utensils. But soon he was shocked, and after she recovered, she asked her mother and Magda. What happened? She answered. She was between fear, astonishment, and amazement. I was washing pots on the bank of the canal while I was busy working. As a girl comes out from under the surface of the water and calls on my name. And she tells me to tell Hosanna that her brother Hossein has died today. Mother, she did not understand. But Magda was sitting in front of the oven to iron the bread. She got up screaming and turned around quickly, then jumped inside the burning oven. And it disappeared completely without a trace. Without the slightest trace. From her day, the girl did not appear, and her body did not even appear. And she left behind a sea of mysterious awe. Who is she? Was she a human being? It is worth noting that her child was eating food and was hot from the stove directly at the age of 1 year. And he was born with full teeth. That is the whole story. The question now is, what do you think of this story?